बहुत बहुत कम है यार ऐसे उसमें.
डेल्टा है पर सब लो बॉल वैल्यूएशन ऑल ऑफ
यार एनवायरो दुकान से लो बॉल पे है.
एनवायरो इज 22 टाइम्स
फॉर वाटर ट्रीटमेंट थोड़ा.
भाई 35% ग्रोथ गाइड कर रहा है एग्जिस्टिंग बिजनेस पे 25%
बट
मार्जिन
इट्स आल्सो लेड बाय उसका ये ना. अच्छा वी आर लाइव यस अनुपम वी आर लाइव.
Are we?
Yes.
35% growth sir 35%
No, India will grow at nominal GDP of
6%
nominal GDP
Nominal तो 11
of
11%.
12-13%, not 35. मतलब I understand you are bullish on India,
No,
but
sir,
थोड़ा
this is water treatment company guiding for this kind of
आप बहुत माइक्रो में चले गए स्टार्ट में. ये केवाईसी इफेक्ट है हर्ष पे.
या वो जस्ट कट टू कट होता है ना.
हाँ, वो तो ऐसे blinkers KYC, so he only sees KYC. He shamelessly plugs the show every time.
या
हमने ओपनिंग क्लोजिंग करना बंद कर दिया है.
तो बताइए सर ओपनिंग क्लोजिंग में क्या आपका आज का की टेकअवे ज्ञान दीजिए.
अरे कोई ज्ञान नहीं है भाई. नहीं जस्ट सिंपल. आई मीन व्हाट इज द मार्केट डूइंग? हाँ, बड़ा 0.4%, राइट? इज
आपने आज नीलेश शाह ऑफ एनविजन कैपिटल से बात किया क्या बोला वो?
No, everybody is constructive, right? Everybody is constructive, but so the fly in the ointment. As I met somebody over the weekend, and that person's view was that Arvind Aguspe,
Puneet is smiling because this is like your favorite quote.
because there is a fly in the
I am
ointment.
reading his mind.
चलो दाल में काला बस. काले में तो दाल नहीं है, दाल में काला. वो ये है कि किसी ने मुझे बताया ना. I don't have an answer. Puneet, you might have an answer here. मुझे ये बताओ, ये क्वेश्चन है आपको. अगर मैं गाड़ी पे एज अ कंपनी गाड़ी पे 1 लाख रुपए का डिस्काउंट देता हूँ तो एमआरपी 1 लाख रुपए कम हो गया. Ceteris paribus, if volumes remain the same, right, will my overall sales come down as opposed to going up because the pricing is lower?
If the volumes remain the same, yes.
So therefore the uptick in volumes needs to be that high.
Yeah.
What's the percentage number?
10%.
10% at the bare minimum for people to do this. So either the uptick in volumes or that people upgrade from a lower variant to a higher variant, or a basic car to a slightly advanced car, because उनको इतना पैसा मिल रहा है.
Sorry,
that is the
I have a
assumption.
follow up once you're done. I thought it's net of GST that you should reflect your top line. You pay off your GST and then net sales is what is taken into account when revenue is looked at and when margins are computed as well. So I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah. So abhi just all these auto companies have come out and cut. It's actually just the GST ka ye tha, they've just kind of given it to consumers first only. Ki this is going to be this thing.
Correct.
The net sales wala I'll have to check because I don't know if it's net of GST or what.
So yes, it will depend on this.
I'll check that because it's interesting.
It will depend on this. If it's net, my understanding always was from the day one of us discussing GST, and this will apply for everyone. It will apply to a Blue Star and a Voltus also, or within the AC segment, within TVs, etc. Point being, my understanding is it's net of GST because it's net sales which they take. If it is gross,
you might not see that impact in that way.
Yeah, if it is gross, then to your margins will also go up as a result because your top line will shrink, the EBITDA will remain the same, and therefore your margins will go up. So everything will get distorted then. My understanding is not that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. We'll probably look at the financials and get back.
Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah.
But this is essentially my understanding was that maybe I don't know.
So I feel all these car makers have started to go up because for someone like a Tata Motors, the volumes are actually falling every quarter with the last 2-3 quarters, 3% kira. Now even when the price comes down by 10%, even if there was some buyers which were on the fence, and I believe there are a lot of them, they suddenly just get that fill up to get in the showroom, put that booking amount, and I think from today onwards we're seeing a lot of brokerages also. I think BOFA has come out today where they are ki booking bahut log kar denge up until that time, and then they will be okay, we'll take delivery bit from 22nd September. So we might see that huge jump in sales, probably not in September but in October, but it will largely happen in these months is what I feel for anybody who's just slightly also been on the fence in this particular time, which I'm guessing a lot of them have, at least in the smaller cars, in the compact SUV space. So all those will definitely get that huge benefit.
The second thing is there's a rumor among consumers and consumers like us where they are saying that there is going to be an upfront discount which is going to be given, which currently car companies are bearing.
Yeah.
As a result of this GST cut, some kind of a teaser because inventory is extremely high in the system.
Yeah.
How true is that?
I feel like,
or is this just a mechanism or a structure in which they will actually book the sale only after 22nd September?
Yeah.
And therefore, the invoicing may happen after that. The delivery, etc., can happen sometime in between or thereafter.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the
no,
mechanics
yeah,
work.
I feel like I think it's pre-September 3rd discounting, which was generally the normal festive which you might give to a customer. And I think post that, I think the discounting will come down, I feel. Because you're already giving that 1 lakh rupee benefit to a customer. So he already has in that
नहीं, so
mindset.
ये जो M&M का जो sorry जो
Price cut
ऑफर
हुआ है,
आया
yeah.
वो real price cut है
This
कि
is-
GST adjustment
This is
क्या है
This is GST adjustment on
Exactly.
all those models. basically.
Exactly. तो
And
मुझे
same-
और कोई दो लोगों ने न्यूज रूम में पूछा ये
Yeah,
कि
yeah.
अरे यार M&M तो यार margins टूट जाएंगे. I said I don't think that they would have done
No, margins नहीं रुकते हैं.
Margins को नहीं.
Margins cannot go down.
नहीं सर M नहीं. What I'm trying to tell you, sorry.
That's what. So KM.
What I'm trying to tell you is that he was saying that the GST benefit as of today though is not available, but M&M is giving that
So,
right now.
So I'll tell you why. The difference.
They will have to
because
continue
M&M
to- they will have to
M&M
continue
started
to-
from September 6th only.
हाँ,
He's the
तो वो
only
कैसे
automaker.
कर
Why?
रहे हैं? So कैसे कर
So
रहे हैं?
he's saying, I want to get the sit. So between Ganpati ending and Shraddh starting, 2 days you had. And he was like, abhi lo na. Why do you want to wait till September 22nd? Now I asked a couple of people which I got zero responses from because I don't know, they wanted to talk on कि आपको ये weekend में मिल गया क्या बहुत सारा sales which
हाँ.
so M&M has I think just tried to just take that alpha sales which if somebody is just like on neck
तो वो
and neck
2 दिन
and-
के लिए तो margins टूटेंगे ना जो भी सेल होंगे
No,
उस
I
पे
feel
because
like the volumes might not be that much on September 6th. Like not everybody is
Fair.
going to go and buy.
Fair.
basically.
जितना भी है 100 गाड़ी बिके है तो उसका मार्जिन टूटेगा.
उसका तो margin
I
टूटेगा
think
ना.
थोड़ा impact होगा, but I think they'll be okay with taking that because M&M has been very dealer focused. They know in this month actually M&M reported a fall of 8% in sales in August, and that was largely to adjust GST. They're the only one who's done that. Who's told the dealers कि मत मार लो, जो पुराना वाला है वो तुम रखो अपने पास. So I think they are okay with taking that 2-day hit because their picture is more
Longer term benefits, is it?
Longer term
कि भाई
benefits,
market
yes.
share acquire करो.
Market share
उसके
we have
बाद
this thing.
तो
and more so कि dealer profitability.
A happy dealer
first-
is a
Yeah, exactly. It's the Maruti model. The
पर
surprising fact is
डीलर का वो सेस का इशू बड़ा है.
it's big. Yes.
मैंने काफी लोगों से बात की.
Yeah.
वो
And I
सेस का
feel
issue
like
है.
I feel, but the thing is, the government will have to come up with a solution for that. They can't just be like it's okay. जितना भी amount
अरे
है.
यार जब तक सोल्यूशन आएगा तब तक यार ऑलरेडी सब
I feel that it should
सब
be
बुक
short
कर
term.
रहे रहेंगे लॉस ऑलरेडी
I
बाय
have
द
to
टाइम
call a company. I'm coming back in 2 minutes.
tell us what the company tells
No,
us.
this is the conclave. So the big thing is the NDTV Profit conclave live tomorrow 3 p.m. onwards, wherein we have the finance minister, the commerce minister Piyush Goyal, CA Anant Nageshwaran, and a whole host of companies. So that is live and exclusive on NDTV Profit, and just doing the final touches for the same.
I'll be tuned in guys. Anyway, yes.
The other interesting one today is another day where you've seen all these EV makers rally again. You have something like Ather is at 520 rupees. Ola is again buzzing today, and it just happens. Like no
Ola
GST.
कितना आप है?
Ola is again getting 3% up is what I saw. And all these guys are just getting that. There are no GST fillers, no nothing, but the picture seems rosy for these guys. So that continues.
So, we had Aswat Damodaran as well, Professor Aswat Damodaran, if I can call it. I mean,
These guys don't call it.
Yeah, they started calling each other master. But anyway,
Yeah.
so Professor Aswat Damodaran came and spoke to us, and it was an exclusive chat with us. I don't think he's spoken to anyone else. Now, point being, he continues to believe that valuations in India are expensive. That's what stood out for me, the big picture.
Yeah.
At 25,000, valuations continue to be expensive, is what he said. He's also saying that, but India will always be an expensive market, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's saying domestic flows are very strong. There's limited possibility for domestic investors to look abroad. That's the other problem, which is why you will see domestic flows being elevated, which will help markets. And the other thing that stood out for me was the fact that he said FIIs. And he spoke about how FIIs will likely make a comeback if Indian markets do well for even 6 weeks. This is
Yeah.
what he said, quote unquote. So 6 हफ्ते के लिए भी अगर अच्छी सारी rally मिल गई, FIs will come back in a big fashion, and you could see a larger rally.
Yeah.
That was his thesis. So he said, yes, Indian markets are expensive, but on the flip side, you also have the possibility that if market suddenly rally and do well, you could see FIs coming in and it could do even better.
Better, yeah.
So that
Because
was
they've
an
largely
interesting
just
piece.
been absent, and
Yes.
all these guys who have been speaking to us, like the FIS, they're not getting it. Is what the main message has been from all market experts that we've been speaking
हाँ
to.
सब
as well.
20 times अभी तो हो गए यार.
Yeah.
Now तो yeah.
I think there was one interesting because we've been talking about GST, and there was a question also that please talk about Bima Sugam. Is it a policy bazaar by government, and please explain this, because there's a lot of questions that have come across GST on insurance and this aspect as well.
Yes, so Bima Sugam is exactly like Policy Bazaar, but mind you, when the government does something and when the private sector does something,
There's a difference.
there's a huge difference in the type of quality of content. क्या some inside information if you have, so if you can share with our viewers on Bulls, Bear and Banter, our viewership will go up. People will be tempted to hit like also, because these days people are not
Not
hitting
hitting
like.
likes, yeah.
So maybe they'll be tempted to hit the like button if you can give
If
us
people
some.
are not hitting likes, then we are not doing something right.
Joking. Guys, please hit like on that note. But yeah, sorry. So we were talking about Bima Sugam.
What is Bima Sugam?
Bima Sugam is the policy bazaar by the government.
हाँ हाँ.
It's a platform for insurance.
Investing
sales.
implication क्या है इसका?
नहीं, investing implication नहीं है. Someone asked a question saying that what exactly is Bima Sugam? They want to understand it. So and whether it's a big competition to Policy Bazaar.
Hersh can go on for 3 days on this. Give him 1 more minute. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, one minute, guys. So 60
1
seconds.
minute. Please count 60 seconds.
The point is that when the government builds platforms and when platforms are built by the private sector, you zameen asman ka farak hai in terms of quality. And yes, so while Bima Sugam is a great platform, but also claims also need to be managed well, and I'm not so sure as to how that will play out. So there's plenty of skepticism around Bima Sugam. Of course, it will be a disruptor for sure in the insurance distribution space, but how much is really the question. And I don't think it's going to be a significant competition to PB Fintech. I don't think so. But of course, we'll have to wait and watch as to how it plays out.
He did get done before 30.
Not bad. So we should do this every time.
But what is policy bazaar response? They are like, I think, pretty sure they are maintaining a very.
वापस चालू हो गया अभी.
So यार,
वापस 2 मिनट और चलेगा फिर.
यार 2 साल से ये सवाल पूछ रहे हैं उनको,
Yeah.
and every time they come up and they say that we will differentiate,
differentiate.
और and increasingly ऐसे लग रहा है कि they will.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other conversation was.
So Aswad Damodaran I covered. You want to cover Niraj Shah? How's he seeing valuations, Indian market, something he's liking?
So I think they have eternal in the portfolio. We are talking about a disruption because ये last 5 दिन में, last 6 दिन में, I've seen 4 brokerage notes, domestic, right, and one CLSA note that Damien Castle का Greed and Fear, when they spoke that वो 1 million वाला, 1 million into one stock for 5 years was eternal from the CLSA side. One of the CLSA heads said that, or sales head. But there are 4 other brokerages which have come out. Motilal Oswal, there's one today, I think Nomura, if I'm not wrong. Have all come out and turned positive on Eternal, which is Zomato, Swiggy, etc. And it takes me back to a conversation that we had way back, that these are businesses which are exploding and they are adding adjacencies to their business arsenal. So if they were doing only X, now they are doing X plus Y, then they'll do X plus Y plus Z. So fine, X का growth थोड़ा कम हो जाए, लेकिन Y का अच्छा है. Let's say for example, last quarter the NOV of the quick commerce business was higher than the food delivery business.
Yeah.
At some point of time, maybe district or maybe something else might overtake quick commerce as well, right?
Yeah.
Who are quick delivery or whatever it is, and then they will keep on adding adjacencies, because you got the captive user base and you know how to play the market.
Yeah.
So I think these businesses somehow look. I don't know whether there is a stock price appreciation to the same extent as business growth would be, because valuations are high. But I think if you look at it at a 5-10 year perspective, they're solid businesses which are primed for growth. So I'm very happy that we have this in India. I remember the last day of Davos, I fell unwell and I couldn't do the last, and it was only 7:30. and of course a lot of things were shut and I couldn't step out, and I was like, yaar kuch manga leta hu. I realized that they don't have a Blinkit or a Instamart or a Swiggy, Zomato, whatever it is, they don't have.
स्विट्जरलैंड के वो छेड़े में सर अब क्या मिलेगा सर?
आप सोचो इंडिया में वो छेड़े में भी वो मिलता है, पॉइंट वो है. So there's some positives to this as well.
I think it's become so exploratory also, right? For trying newer products which are either health conscious or at least flavor conscious. I think that is just becoming so big for all these guys. So, I mean, for all, like, we are seeing these case studies, and I think there's one that's floating around from a back is, I think, that, you know, these quality businesses might be done and everything. But HUL has been saying that we are going online, while the online guys are saying we have to go offline, we have to build stores. So it's just two contrasting views currently, and I think going online it's more a necessity now rather than saying the other way around.
The other thing, Puneet, just one quick thing before we move on to the next topic, is that what this whole ecosystem enables is that if you know how to make a good product,
yes,
right, on the food side, right, I'm only talking about, or quick commerce also, but food side, let's assume food side, right? If you know how to make a good product, you may not have the money to buy restaurant space, especially in metros, right? Linking road pe aap shayad na khareed sako, but you might have a cloud kitchen somewhere, and a set of 3 or 4 cloud kitchens across the city. You got to present a good brand name and a good product, and it is delivered by the Swiggies and the Zomatos of the world. You're home.
But I think the cafe side of things, like, you know, I think Zepto Cafe and all, they've started to kind of like actually not do that well as well, because as a commodity, I think they were banking on coffee as a space, but they have started to rationalize their dark stores for that cafe segment which they have.
Yeah, and he says, I like variety. I don't want to stick to, I don't go to Zepto for the Zepto coffees. I'm just saying. I go to Zepto because it gives me
that variety. Yeah, fair point.
And just plugging this in, because we spoke with Mr. Damodaran as well, Professor Damodaran, and he spoke about how Eternal is a very different company from when he first valued it. And you remember that
big,
that historic valuation he had done. So he said that at that time it was purely food delivery. Now it is. He made a journey of 1 hour 17 minutes from X place to Y place in Bombay recently. He said now it's about saving that time.
Of course.
That we are spending on this commute and travel. It's about picking up laundry. It's about delivering a set of papers. It's about delivering our dabba, which comes, all of that, right? And that kind of saves time and increases convenience. And he said that's what it's about. And a price to that is very different from food delivery. So that's what he was kind of highlighting. So he said the entire metric has changed, the entire business model has changed, and therefore you can't look at that 45 rupee valuation that Zomato was trading at when he made that when he did that math. You can't take that as the base because it doesn't apply anymore. So yeah.
What questions?
We still have to get some questions, but I think you guys have to press like for getting those questions as well. So I think we haven't gotten the desired like, so we haven't got those questions. But one thing before we go to questions, I wanted to ask again is on the rate cuts thing, because I was just looking at that jobs data which came on Friday.
In the US.
The US.
Yeah. I might lose out on a coffee, but that's okay.
But yeah, you are already accepting defeat. I was going to ask you, like, let's put this bet, because
now that the jobs data is looking so bad, might well be that the Fed, in a truly independent fashion, believes that it is worth doing a rate cut, not a series of cuts, but a rate cut, even if inflation may come back, because maybe the market needs it, maybe the jobs market needs it, but let's see. There could be a slip between the cup and the lip, so let's see hota hai ki nahi hota hai.
But it's just the gap, right? Because there has like been such a series of like, for example, for Trump has been so many series of, can't say losses, but at least hits. If there is ever a case where there could be a potential rate cut now, I mean, that would be, I think, the biggest, if not anything, for him as a win right now for him, because he has to have something on his plate right now.
What does he call Jerome Powell?
Too late, Powell.
Yeah. Too late, Powell has finally.
Do you genuinely
that's how the
agree with
post
that?
will be.
Do you believe that is too late? Because you've seen 3 cuts in 3-4 cuts in England, 3 cuts.
But completely
in
different
Europe.
economic metrics, right?
Yeah,
for the US versus.
So
no, inflation is still bad, right? Inflation is still bad. The only thing is that with the extent of the job losses the economy and the whole employment scene there is looking so sketchy right now. That might force. I mean, if it was purely an inflation targeting bank, or if the job scene was remotely better, then I would not have said this, because I would have said कि नहीं, because the inflation might come back, right? The tariff induced inflation. वो तो अभी तक देखा ही नहीं है किसी ने वहाँ पे per se. So there is a problem on inflation front, but just because the jobs thing looks so tardy there, that they might
और ये US market का rally, you think it's a sensible rally only from a perspective, and I come from a place where one, there was expected to be a marked slowdown, which hasn't come through. Growth is holding up fairly well in the US despite all of these tariffs, this, that, the other, right? And therefore this rally warranted, or is it still overdone? You have Warren Buffett sitting on like
oodles of cash,
$400 billion of cash, if I'm not wrong, and then you have US markets continuing to rally, clock all-time highs. I think it's the 30th time it's clocked an all-time high calendar year today.
So
27 or 30 or
somebody replied back to one tweet of mine about the US market overvaluation, that the mental capital companies cannot be valued price to book, and they will always deserve high multiples, and therefore that's a view that these companies will continue doing that way because growth abhi bhi aa raha hai wahan pe. Max 7, Big 20, whatever you call them, and they might continue, that might hold the S&P
and
up.
a little bit of AI also kind of
Not a little bit, quite a bit.
Pushing valuations higher.
Quite a bit.
So maybe that's one.
But the India thing is very, very interesting, because I noticed some data points which all point towards a potential up move whenever it happens. FI ownership Indian equities 13-year lows last week.
Since 2012.
Nifty to gold ratio is the most oversold in 5 years. Rahul Sharma has put out that tweet of JM Financial. He's saying that Nifty average return has been 125% over the next 28 months. Every single time. And OPEC Plus has agreed to boost output as Saudi focuses on getting revenues, right? And therefore, that means that
oil
prices stay low.
Which is good for India.
Yeah, it's great for India, which is actually the next thing. I'm surprised that tire stocks are not making the rally that somehow I thought they will, with the crude prices and oil price and the rubber prices. The way they are right now in the upcoming potential festive season, boom, which will all help tire companies, right? At least sentiment-wise. Why are they not moving?
The other bit is that they also get a benefit from GST, because the after sales, which is almost like somewhere like 40% for Apollo, there the GST reduction has also happened on that aspect. So all these point to a revival there. The only thing is only those where we see domestic focus more rather than export oriented is where you are seeing a higher re-rating essentially. So Siatka, that happened in Q4 and somewhat in Q1. And today again, I think MK has written a note on them because they are investing heavily in Sri Lanka now, because they acquired Camzo there last year. And now they've completed their acquisition. So you might see, I think, select pockets doing well in tires. For Apollo, it's more that if they are able to actually show higher growth in some other geographies like Europe, finally seeing that revival or no. I think it'll depend on that. But we might see some run up on spaces like JK Tires, on something like Seat first. Balakrishna again is too very export focused as well as very off-highway focused. And I think the market is on the fence with the new passenger car venture that they are getting into. But I think the domestic focus, both on the tires as well as on the auto ancillary side as well, will get that first re-rating, if not anything. And then we might see the second order run from those players, I think. So I think in that way, not a recommendation, but I feel like Seat and all those players that have invested so much in India over the last few years will get that benefit first, if anything.
We have questions. Brijda is asking view with regard to Motherson.
Motherson, yeah, very interesting. I think it's
Samvardhana.
There was that analyst.
You can be the bull, I can be the bear.
You're a bear?
I mean, the basic point is that, and we put out the data today also, like the last 5-year plan, they weren't able to meet any of those metrics which they had. They had a plan of reaching $36 billion in revenue. They are at 25 at the end of FY25. They had to reach 40% ROC. They are at 18. They had a target of 40% dividend payout. They are
So
at
you're a
29.
skeptic.
Skeptic in the sense that acquisition has been one of the key strategies for them. They have done 37 in this time in 5 years also, and that doesn't help their return on capital employed. Now it's a metric which they were not able to meet over the last 4-5-year terms, basically since 2010. And while they are now, this is the most differentiated 5-year plan because it has non-auto business also, and we still have to see how that plays out. And I know that brokerages and all are positive. I think that one metric is what I was looking at, because they're not able to meet those ROCE metrics, and I think the street looks at that aspect, right? Because you have that kind of capability, but because you're doing so many acquisitions, they are not like, it's more on the kind of capital you put in as well.
Okay.
You have a view?
No. I mean, I'll follow Puneet's thing, right? Just that most analysts seem to be enthused by the fact that the plans are so ambitious and they are so hungry for growth. So
Yeah.
they haven't delivered the last time. If they deliver, then can this stock win? What are the valuation multiples?
It's
Fairly valued.
Fairly valued. I mean, the point is that from going from 25 billion in gross sales to 100, and they are saying 75% of that will be through acquisitions.
33% CAGR.
Yeah, and I feel like we've started to see that, because they are now in partnership with a lot of Japanese players. Like, they've acquired already 3 entities from Honda itself. So it basically says that the car makers are trying to diversify their auto and space, which they haven't done in the last 30 years. And maybe there is what Motherson sees, that those big acquisitions, and Motherson always has said that, we don't go to the acquisition comes to us. So I feel like they might be seeing something more, but with what's happening in Europe in terms of car growth and what's happening now, and US just slipped in this time, and that's impacted, according to them, almost 60 million vehicle production. So I'm seeing the next 5 years also has that uncertainty, and yeah, their aircraft venture and all, while good, it's because the size of Motherson is so big that these all ventures look small. It's not small by any means or imagination. 5,800 crores is what they do from the new ventures only. But because of the size, I feel like there could be this thing. And we've seen like these domestic players do so well, right? Gabriel, all of these which we keep talking about have been like flying. So I feel like the market would just put that valuation metric there. Gabriel is at 28 times price to earnings, but it's crossed 1,200 rupees again today.
The other question is by Devanshu Kumar. View on EID parry. Can we have it on KYC? Well, Devanshu, we've already done a show with EID parry, is Mr. Murugappa. It's part of the family businesses show that we do. And I believe someone has done quite a bit with regard to EID parry. So maybe you want to go in and listen to that one. But yeah, we haven't done a KYC on EID parry. We've tried them a couple of times. It's not happened. We'll try again, maybe a couple of months from now. But specifically on EID parry, my understanding of the business, and maybe not too much in depth, but around it owns around 56% in Coromandel International, and Coromandel International has a market cap of around 65,000 crore. So if I maybe just take the market cap therefore only of Coromandel, which EID owns, it's around 30,000 or maybe 38,000 crore. The market cap of EID parry today is around 20,000 crore. And therefore trades at a significant discount to that. Typically, it's called the holding company discount, which most analysts ascribe around a 20% to. This is trading at nearly a 50% discount, therefore. Plus, it has the sugar business, it has the ethanol business, which it does, and it's getting into staples. And of course, they will invest money into the staples business. So it's a 20,000 crore company with roughly 1,000 to 1,500 crore of PAT, is my understanding, and therefore that's broadly the way the business ought to be looked at. But of course, that interview by Tamanna of Mr. Murugappa would be interesting to see. So maybe something that gives you a cue or lens into how he's thinking about the business going forward. And the staples business is something that we should really start pricing in, because that is a new business. It's a new lever. They have a very strong south-focused market, which they already work in, and therefore this could be a big one which they enter. And it's a mid-teens kind of margin business, the staples business, from what I understand from the commentary they've given in the past, whatever I've heard of it. That's broadly the take on EID.
The other one's very interesting suggestion. Can we have a show where we review few of the companies taken KYC earlier and check if the story is actually playing out?
करो critical assessment of your show.
Done.
Don't take the company, सिर्फ critical assessment कर लो.
Correct, done. But it's still relatively new, guys, because we've been doing KYC for the last 6-7 months maybe, and therefore, 7 महीने में कितना delivery होगा? I mean,
Check तो
trying
कर
to
लो.
say. But yes, we will.
ऐसा हो सकता है कि
all
आप
take it-
लोगों ने किसी को बहुत गंदे स्टार दिए हो और बिजनेस अच्छा किया हो.
Or I'd be more worried about the other
The
way
other way
around.
around. कि जिसको
No,
बहुत
both. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, we will. I think worth it. Thanks so much, Vikin, for that.
क्या है ये? If it is worth buying Russian oil for $4 less, where we a nation are facing such dislocation due to manufacturing. Mrinal, frankly, you don't need to think of it that way, right? Like,
Sir,
देखो.
आपको पहले सवाल पूछना पड़ेगा because you and me have read the question,
So,
but viewers haven't.
So Mrinal is asking, please ask the Commerce Minister that if it's worth buying Russian oil for $4 less, when we as a nation are facing such dislocation due to tariffs in manufacturing, textiles, gems, etc. Thanks. Mrinal, one, I don't think that it is only because of the Russian oil buying that all of this is happening, because it is not. And let's face it, you and I both will agree that is not the case. That is the poster child of or the post or the snap of what is being used as a reason. And frankly, if you think of it that way also, that we are a nation which is at $25,000 per capita, so many people under the poverty line, that higher fuel prices impact every single life. You don't want that to be the case. Forget the car, forget your petrol on the at the pump, the diesel that goes to various other people, or the petrol cars, or the any kind of transportation of goods and services which happens to millions and billions of Indians across. You want it as cheap as possible. And frankly, my view is the same, that it's not that India is the only one which is doing this, right? Europe is buying gas from Russia. Why not? If you have the guts, go and tell China to stop, etc. I don't think that is the only reason. That's my limited point. And my other limited point is that I think there is now a thawing of relations that has started. We don't want to disrupt that party. Let's just wait for the two sensible leaders to come together and try and do what is best for both economies. My hopes are pinned on that.
maybe a little bit of start of that has happened, right?
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking at what's happened over the weekend very positively.
I want to add a little bit to that. Since the 1960s and 70s, or whatever history I've been reading up on, Russia has been a very crucial ally of India, and US has not been. So
Yeah, but US has been in the last 20 years.
Yes. So this goes back 6 decades where Russia has firmly supported India. And of course, since 2000, India's relations with the US also aren't all that bad.
Yeah, no, but Hersh, sorry,
it's a
but
strategic
I'll
relationship
just
as well, right?
Yeah, but yes, you are right, but I'll just tell you, the reason I'm just bringing it here because I don't think that it is about the Russian oil alone. If it was only the Russian oil, तो बात अलग है.
Of course not.
Yeah.
So therefore, it doesn't make a this thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
essentially, then for Brazil also, it's not just about soybean, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Semiconductor plant with regard to tube investments. Any of you have a view? You track
CG
semiconductors.
power, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a big step, and because we spoke to Keynes Tech also, it's largely an opportunity that's only been treated through exports, and we actually focused on semiconductor in that episode, and thanks so much for giving us that love on that episode on YouTube as well. It's done well. It's largely a very big opportunity. It's just getting started now, because you see a lot of these smaller companies also who are into packaging of semiconductors. They are also starting to do well. So it's still very early in this opportunity when they start with the production. I think Keynes has mentioned that Q4 of FY26 this year itself they'll start, but it's a huge opportunity to say the least. So all companies who've in the listed space, we have only a few, but definitely it's a big one to track as well.
Okay, Nika. There's been a sudden interest spike in Nika. Do either of you all have a view? I don't, frankly.
Yeah.
But what we will do is, can we probably have Mahima?
Yeah.
And she will be there on closing. Probably ask her on Nika and
Makes
what's
sense.
happening. So tune in for India Market Close.
Guys, we need to wrap up now.
Quick
Now.
question.
Yeah, last. If you want to do 2 quick questions, let's do that, but rapid fire, please.
This one I think you should take.
Which
Gaurav
one?
Bhatia. Just like the CLS.
$1 million, sir. आप
only
deploy ये
आपके
सब
पास
नहीं
ही
करते ये सब, sir.
India. Buy the Nifty.
Sector. By Nifty, okay. Advice on Cyient as a company.
Or
There's not
the
so much.
Nifty next 50 or the Nifty 150, whatever it is.
So Cyient, I think very quick that in Q4 they had a really weak performance. The stock was down 22% post that. Q1 also isn't giving those signs. So probably on the fence on this one, while US exposure is lesser, I think it might take some time for that one to revive, and we're seeing that in across the IT space, right? So I think wait for at least the commentary that comes out of Q2, because that'll be the main one to watch, I think.
Okay, I'll just very quickly add, if you see the Niraj Shah show today, you might get an idea or two about where could you deploy $1 million. I don't have $1 million, so the question is irrelevant.
मैं वही बोला सर
चलो,
ये सब
let's
$1
move on.
million सर
So
थोड़ी
humble.
करेगी
Let's move on.
अच्छा,
What's your-
this 1 second, sorry. Appreciation post. Sagar Jain saying great show. Priyanksha saying you are fab guys.
Thank you.
you so much, guys. Please hit like. We appreciate that. And out of time now.
Out of time. Out of time.
So
Yeah, Madam Shetty, Rakesh Kumar, right? Opinion on Trump considering blocking IT outsourcing. Yeah, I don't think it will happen. But yeah, let's end that, and we'll try and maybe take this question with our guest on closing as well. But per se, I don't think that this is gonna see the end of the day. So no worries on that front. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning
Thank
in.
you.
See you. These two will see you tomorrow. But I urge all of you tomorrow at 3 p.m. the NDTV Profit conclave, GST conclave from Delhi. 3 p.m. onwards, live on NDTV Profit and the NDTV network. You might want to tune in for some great insights and conversations.
thank you guys for joining.
Thank you.